G'day beautiful people, and welcome back to another build guide for Paragon. If you're going to find this video helpful, please drop me a like and consider subscribing for more content. But with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so Lieutenant Belica is a very new hero, newest hero, and quickly becoming a favorite of mine. When we play as Belica, we are going to be prioritizing a certain few of her abilities well over the Void Drone. Okay, we're going to leave the Void Drone till absolute last. So it's kind of situational. Normally I just leave it until I get to the lane to see who I'm laning against, but it's between Seismic Assault and Void Bomb. Say for instance, if you are laning against someone with a good little bit of range, you probably aren't going to be going out as far, so you're probably going to want to go for Void Bomb. If you are stepping out of your comfort zone, you probably want to go for Seismic Assault, and then of course we're going to go for the ultimate, but we're going to leave Void Drone till absolute last. I feel like it needs a bit of a reworking. It is good in the late game, it can be very good in team fights, but just don't prioritize it straight away. It's not very good at the start of the game. It just gets destroyed way too easily. So moving on, we're going to build a deck from scratch for Belica. Okay, so I'm going to run you through the way that I like to play her. That's pretty much as a very tanky support player with a good amount of damage. Okay, we're going to get some good cooldown for free. We're going to get a lot of resistance. And we're going to get a good bit of mana and damage from her. Okay, so the first thing that we need is we need to build ourselves a ward, because she has low mobility, she has no disengage, so she's very vulnerable. I don't have any of the good wards, so my only options are a Lord's Ward and a Magus Ward. So we're going to go with the Magus Ward because we get the extra little bit of damage out of it. Okay, so we're going to take that. Now, I do not have 3 minor casts, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to go 1 minor cast and 2 basic mana. I want you, if you are able to just go for 3 minor casts, okay? The second card that we're going to be using is an Elder Mage Amulet. And we're also going to be slotting this with minors, okay? So we're going to put 3 lesser healths onto the Elder Mage Amulet, because the build that we are going towards is going to have 3 12-point cards, 2 9-point cards, and a 6-point card, which will be the Elder Mage Amulet. Okay. The next thing that we're going to go for, just so that we can get it out of the way, is our resistances. Okay, so we're not going to go with the old Tempered Plate and Tune Barrier. We're going to be using Aetherweave Mesh and Quantum Casing to get their cooldown for free. Okay, these are going to be 12-point cards. It's going to give us a lot of cooldown off of this. We're actually going to get 15% cooldown off of each card. Okay, so we're going to go for 2 3-point barriers, whichever one's greater barriers or divine barriers, and a chrono, a standard chrono. Okay, that's going to give us our 15% cooldown and 144 resistance. And we're going to do the same thing with our quantum casing. 2 divine guards or greater guards, and 1 chrono. That's going to give us 144 physical armor, and it's going to give us 15% cooldown. Okay, so now we're at 144 of both resistances, and we're at 30% cooldown, which is good. We can leave it at that. We could go for 40% by replacing, say, a Elder Mage Amulet with something else to go for health and cooldown, like a Pendulum of Lords, and probably get it to 40%, but 30% is fine, and we'd rather have the Elder Mage Amulet for the extra health. Okay, so that's our resistances out of the way. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be working towards is we're going to be working towards our mana and our damage. Okay, we already have our health, because the Elder Mage Amulet is going to be one of our endgame cards. The Magus Ward is going to be replaced. The Aetherweave Mesh and the Quantum Casing are staying. So we're going to go for Amp Crystals, okay? I would like to say to take one of these as an early game card with 3 minor casts, and you can definitely do that if you are able to. I am not, so I'm using a major cast, a cast, and a basic mana to make it one of my end game cards. So that is my first of 2 9-point cards. Next up, we're going to go for another Amp Crystal. And with this one, we are going to be slotting it because once again I don't have the required cards to go for a 3-2-1. So I'm just going to slot it with 3 casts. Okay. Normally I would recommend that you go with a 3-2-1 with the casts. It just makes it easier when going back because you get everything in multiples of 3, so you don't want to have 3 points to spend and need 4. So right now we have our 2 9-point cards, our 6-point card, and 2 of our 12s, so we need another 12-point card. Okay, so when it comes to the other 12-point cards, I'm actually taking a couple of different options. I'm going to be taking another Major Sword and slotting it with just pure damage, but I'm also going to take a Crystal Conduit, and we're going to use that to get our penetration. So in that respect, it is a bit of a gamble because we're going to be actually giving up our ward to use this. Okay, so we've got the 3 focus shocks, and we've got an advanced mana just in case we only want to run the 2 shocks, and we can have a little bit extra mana. Then we're getting quite a bit of mana. We're getting 225 from each of the amp crystals, plus the 150 on the first amp crystal, and if we slot into it, we will actually have some more on our crystal conduit. We will have the 225 plus, if we decide to go with it, the extra 225. Normally I probably won't. We've got enough mana as it is, and it's all pretty much free. You could also, on that first amp crystal, just get rid of that mana on there. It's probably not even needed. You could just go for a 1-point strike token, cast token, but as I've said, I don't have them because the game hates me. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to do, just in case, because most of the games that I actually play, I haven't actually had anyone with energy resistance on since I've made this build. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go for another Major Sword. Okay, it's going to give us some more energy for free, some more energy damage for free. It's going to give us that visibility that we need, and it's going to allow us to do even more damage. Okay, but this will be replacing our this will be replacing our penetration, not our extra damage. Okay, so it is a 12-point card. You can, however, just make this as a 9-point card and replace the first amp crystal if you wish. So that's the build, guys. Give it a go. I hope you like it. It does actually work quite well. It is a little bit complicated. I know it's complicated, but you'll get used to it. Just remember, you've got 3 12-point cards, 2 9-point cards, and a 6-point card. Okay. So even if you wanted to get rid of the Elder Mage Amulet and keep your Major Sword and keep your penetration, you can do that any combination you want. You can also replace any of these cards if you see fit. So once again, I hope you found this useful. If you did, please drop me a like. Consider subscribing. Thank you very, very much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.